welcome back to my video, guys. If you're new to this channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I want to make this video as short as I can, okay? In this video, I want to put all strategies into just one place, and this is going to enable you to know exactly what to analyze. You know, there are a lot of strategies I have put up on my YouTube channel, but this particular video is going to help you to know how to put everything together. I mean, how to analyze using every strategies that I have taught, and the important ones, you know. So I'm going to advise that you pay detailed attention to this, especially if you don't really know how to analyze, or you are confused on what to analyze, you don't really know what you're looking out for in the market. I'm going to advise that you pay a detailed attention to this video, okay, guys? So let's get into it. I'm going to be using Volatility 25MINUTES for this video, okay? So let's get directly into it. So the first thing you would want to do is to know your structure. Anywhere you are starting from, ensure you are starting from structure. Whatever you are doing, just ensure you are starting from structure. Okay, guys, so let's start from structure. How do we know our structure? This is 24 hours time frame. You have to start from the higher time frame. If we had weekly time frame on this particular trading view, I would have preferred to start on weekly time frame, but because we don't have a weekly time frame, so I'm just going to use the 24 hours time frame. I'm going to start with the 24 hours time frame. So the other part has not loaded, but this is the most important areas that we need. So what do you have to start from? You have to start from your structure. So let's quickly mark out the structure we are looking out for. So we had a break of structure to the downside here. There was a break of structure to the downside. This is how you will start analyzing your market, guys. Mark out your break of structure to the downside. This is the most visible break of structure that we had. Then another part, we had break of structure to the upside. We had another break of structure to the upside, meaning our last break of structure on this time frame is to the upside. We had our last break of structure to the upside, which is an uptrend. Now, if we actually had access to the weekly time frame, we would have seen where the market is going to, we would have looked out for where the market is going to, but this is what you are going to be making decision on. This is what you'll be making decision on. Remember, we had our last break of structure to the upside. We've marked that out. So after marking out our break of structure to the upside, what is the next thing you're looking out for? Now, you can see that all of this movement, all of these ones, all of these structures created around this area, they are range structure, and they are just like a liquidity build-up for the market. If the market is ready, the market is supposed to come back into this, our internal structure. Once the market comes back into this internal structure, that is when you're going to make decision on what the market is doing. So, you know, we've marked out our structure range, we've marked out the range structure that is in the market, which is the liquidity build-up, and then this is our internal structure. So let's mark out the last break of structure in our internal structure. But first, let's mark the first break of structure. We had our first break of structure here, which is the intent. That's the first break of structure. If you don't understand these terms, I still advise you go to my YouTube channel and watch this video. I'm going to put all together in a playlist, and I'm going to just put it up on the YouTube channel so that you can watch them gradually, and then you are going to understand all these terms that I am using. So if you don't understand these terms, I'll advise you watch more of the YouTube video. So, you know, we have our break of structure to the upside there. There was a break of structure to the upside here, and after that, we had this break of structure to the upside again. There was another break of structure to the upside, and due to distance and momentum, see this, guys, there was distance and momentum after we had this break of structure. I'm going to show you guys. You can see that distance. I mean, there was a lot of distance, there was momentum. So we are still not really expecting our market to come to the sponsored candle. Why? Because we had a very good distance. Remember, this is 24 hours time frame. So we are just going to be marking out the possible PO high. We are still going to mark out our sponsored candle that has not been tested, but we are going to just mark out the our PO highs, I mean the PO highs you might be expecting market to come back to. I'm explaining the way you would just analyze, guys. So after you've marked out your structure, you've marked out the range structure, which serves as our liquidity build-up also. You know, we've marked out structure, we've marked out our liquidity build-up. We're expecting the market inside the internal structure, and we've marked out our structures inside our structure range. We've marked them out. So what is the next thing you want to do on this particular time frame, which is the 24 hours time frame? Mark out the possible PO high you are expecting the market to come back into, and that is all. If you do that, we'll just go to the lower time frame and we're going to do the rest. Okay, guys, it's as simple as that. It's not that difficult. Analyzing the market is not that difficult as everybody makes it look like. So if you just understand those concepts and you are able to see them by yourself, then you are good to go. So where are we expecting our PO high? Remember I said due to the distance and momentum, markets might not want to come back to this sponsored candle, but we are still going to mark out the sponsored candle. You should know what sponsored candle means if you're watching this video, and if you don't know what it means, I have put it up on my YouTube channel as regards PO high, and I'm still going to make more videos on that, guys, so that you guys can understand perfectly everything we are doing. I don't want anybody to be left out, so let me just delete this. It's not forming what I want. Okay, so remember we've marked out our sponsored candle, but because of distance and momentum, okay, guys, markets might not want to come back to your sponsored candle. Now, if there was no distance and there was no momentum to the upside, if we did not have enough momentum to the upside, we might just mark out only our sponsored candle, and we will seal up our mind that where we are expecting the market is the sponsored candle, until market gives us another break of structure, maybe to the upside or to the downside. But where we are expecting the market is sponsored candle. That is if there was no much momentum in the market and there was not much distance. So the next area I'm going to be marking, you know, we had our break of structure here. This is the sponsored candle, which is the origin of the market. Then the next thing I'm going to be marking, see this, guys, we had this one that's taking out liquidity. This low has taken out liquidity, that's taken out inducements. Okay, so it is still a valid area. So we might be expecting market in this internal structure. We might be expecting market in this internal structure. So what is the next thing you're going to be marking out? The next thing you're going to be marking out is the secondary point of interest around this area and the primary point of interest. So this is the primary point of interest. Now, if market breaks this particular low, I'm not going to be marking any secondary point of interest for this range. For this particular range, I'm not going to be marking any secondary point of interest. I'm just going to be expecting it around this area, which is the SC candle. So I've marked out my primary point of interest, but like I said earlier, this distance and momentum is too high. So market might choose any area, and you don't want to just miss out on the market. So where is the next thing you're going to be marking out? I've marked out my primary point of interest, and the reason I marked out that area is because we had a break of structure to the upside here. See this, we had a break of structure, which is the first break of structure to the upside, and this was the low that was created after we had that break of structure. So this is the low I'm going to be looking out for as my inducement. I'm going to be marking this out as my inducement, and mark out this my area as point of interest. Guys, it is not that hard, just focus. So I'm going to be marking this low as my inducement, and I'm going to be expecting market to take out this inducement and then use this area for continuation. So our secondary POI, where is our secondary POI? Why I am marking out secondary POI is because of distance and momentum. It has a lot to do with the market. Anytime you see distance and momentum in the market, it has a lot to do with the market, because sometimes markets might use a different model from the model one. We have model one, we have model two, and then we have model three. Model one is based on sponsored candle. Model two, we have secondary point of interest. We have secondary point of interest as our model two. So as long as you are marking out your model one, you should mark out your model two when you are using when you are using another area in the market, when you are using another range in the market. Remember, this is another range. This is our proper range here, and this is where we have our primary points of interest, our major primary points of interest. But based on the fact that we are using this range, based on this momentum, we're going to be using both primary points of interest, which is the model 1, and secondary point of interest, which is the model 2. Or maybe we'll use the model 3, anyone. So whatever the market places out for us, we are going to be using. So we've marked out our model 1. So where is our model 2, which is the secondary point of interest? If you don't understand secondary point of interest, I'm going to put the link in the description box. Just check it out, and then you can learn about your secondary inducement, primary inducement, your primary POI, and secondary POI. So I'm going to be marking out my secondary POI. Some people call it support turn resistance or resistance turn support. So I'm going to be marking this area out as my secondary point of interest, and I'm going to be looking out for each reaction at each point. And the reason I'm marking this out is based on momentum. Normally, it is not my model for trading. My model for trading is this particular area, which is the major area. As I told you guys, is the major area for me. But because of that momentum, I'm just going to be fixing up with whatever the market is giving. So I'm marking out my breaker block. I'm marking out the breaker block, and then it is in alignment with this particular POI here. It is in alignment with this point of interest, okay, which is the demand candle. So I'm just going to mark it out that way, and then I'm going to see the reaction at each part. Then this is going to be my inducement for that secondary point of interest. This low is going to be my inducement for secondary point of interest. See this low is going to be my inducement for secondary point of interest. And you can see the market actually deceived a lot of people in from this POI. From this POI, the market deceived a lot of traders in, because they are going to think this is a break of structure to the upside at this demand candle. They will think this is a break of structure. You can see what the market did. They will think this is a break of structure to the upside. So basically, this would have been my point of this would have been my inducement. Sorry, guys. So this would have been my inducement area. And then you can see after the market got to this POI, this particular POI, it broke structure to the upside and still came back and broke structure to the downside. So I've marked out my inducement for secondary, I've marked out my inducement for primary, and then I've marked out those points of interest also. So I'm going to just look out for the reaction on each part of the market. So you can see the market started reacting at this point, and then we had this high broken. I explained about entry confirmation, guys. So if you're here to check it out, I'll also link it in the description box. You can see we had a break of structure to the upside. We had an induced high broken. We had an induced high broken at secondary POI. Yeah, that's really amazing. This is an induced high. The market induced this previous high. We broke structure to the downside, and then we came back and broke structure to the upside. So what's the next thing I would be doing? This is my target, okay? This particular high is my target. So what is the next thing you are supposed to do when you see this kind of scenario happening in the market? After we've had our break of structure to the upside, you can see market came back to this POI. Market came back to this POI, but still I have my fair value gap here. I have my fair value gap here, so I'm not going to be in a hurry. So I'm going to mark out my fair value gap. So after marking out my fair value gap, all you have to do, please do it on the higher time frame. I beg you guys, because lower time frame is very, 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 very deceptive. So I have my fair value gap here, the imbalance. There was imbalance here, and you can see that this market used this candle to continue to the upside, and there has not been any visible structure created. You know, if the structure is going to break this high, I would have expected something like this. If the structure was going to break this high without coming back to this area, I would have expected something like this to happen. Then we'll come back this way. The market will break this structure to the upside again. Then I will now expect the market to come to this area, and then we will continue to the upside till we break this high. After we've taken out this high, then I will expect the market to now give me that major inducement move and come back into this candle. And then we'll continue to the upside. That is if market is going to continue to the upside. If the weekly time frame has not gotten to where we are expecting. So basically, we just have our break of structure here. We have this candle being used to the upside, and you can see that market started creating liquidity build-up. This is very beautiful, guys. We started creating this liquidity build-up, which is showing a reversal. It is showing us that this market is exhausted. This market is already exhausted. You can see that liquidity buildup, which is the range structure, So I'm just going to mark out this range structure. Okay, guys, so this is a range structure. All these are just range structure, which is the liquidity build-up. So where is your PO high that you're expecting the market? Remember, we had our break of structure here. We've not taken our external liquidity, so you have to be careful around this area. But we've had our first break of structure to the upside. Now see what happened here. Where is our first break of structure to the upside? This is the first BMS to the upside, right? And this candle, it took it out with a wick. So this is going to be my inducement. This low will be an inducement for me. This low will be an inducement for me. This is an inducement for me, right? So where will my PO high be? I've marked out my inducement area. This is the same thing you keep repeating even on the lower time frame. Repeat this even on the lower time frame and you're good to go. So I'm going to be marking out this as my PO high. Okay, this was the last area that took liquidity. So I'm going to be marking it with that white candle, and this is going to be my PO high. And obviously, market wouldn't have gotten to my PO high based on what is happening right now in the market. So that's my PO high, right? I marked out that as my PO high because we have fair value gap here and this is the candle here. But sometimes markets can use fair value gap to continue, but I don't use fair value gap for a continuation. I don't use fair value gap as my own PO high. I use real candles for PO high. So I'm not just going to mark out fair value gap for a PO high. No, I wouldn't do that. I won't do that. Now, markets would have, in fact, markets wouldn't have tagged me along here if I wanted to enter the markets. The markets wouldn't have tagged me along. I would have had a missed entry here. Missed entry is not bad, guys. You know that, right? Missed entry is not bad. At least it is giving you that confidence that you are analyzing the right thing. So I would have actually had a missed entry here, even with everything the market is doing here. I wouldn't have entered the market. So I would just look out for areas where I can continue with the market. Okay, I would have just looked for an area to continue with the market. And where is the area I would have tried to continue with the market? We had the first break of structure here. There was a first break of structure here. Yes, this is the visible area. You know, guys, you have to create your own rules for yourself. You have to create your own rules for yourself. Nothing starts until you start and nothing ends until you end. So there is no area here that is a major low. I don't have any area here that is a major low that markets would have used for a continuation. This is not a major low. Why? Because, in fact, see what happened here, guys. We had double bottom here. There was double bottom here, so I wouldn't even have think of using this area for a continuation. There was a double bottom here, so see that double bottom. Okay, so this is a double bottom, guys, and after the first BMS, where is the low created, which is my inducement? This was the low created, so this is my inducement. So where would I be marking out for my POI? I would be marking this area out as my POI. We had fair value gap here. There's a fair value gap here. See, guys, we had that fair value gap here, and I make use of fair value gap often also, so I think you should use that, so it's going to be beneficial for you. Before you mark out your POI, mark out your fair value gap that is close to that POI. So this would have been my POI, my next POI for market to use. This would have been my next POI for market to use. And you can see that all of this area are actually demand candle. They have demand area here. We have a demand area here. So I would have just marked out this low for a continuation. Just for me to continue the market, I would have marked out the low for a continuation. Now, if this market does not get to this area, I would have still had a missed entry also. Now, the only thing I'm going to wait for is for market to break this high. I'm going to patiently wait for market to break this high, this particular high. That is if it does not come back to my point of interest. If this market does not come back to my point of interest, I'll just wait for market to break this high. But hold on, guys, let's see what the market is using at this area. We might be using this bounce here. So let's see. Let's just see that on the lower time frame. We might be using this area, but still, I'm not going to enter the market. I'm not going to enter this market. I will just look out for another area of the market where I can analyze, and then it's going to give me a good entry. You can see this, guys, but I'm not just going to fall for this because we did not have that enough distance like we had on the previous one. We did not have that so much distance for the market to start using this secondary POI. So I'm just going to still stick to my primary POI here for market to come here, and then we're going to continue to the upside. So let's see other time frames. Let's see other time frames. Okay. Let's check the 8 hours time frame. Right, so this is the 8 hours time frame. We're on the 8 hours time frame, and then you can see that we had another block after we had our inducement taken. You can see this is the inducement. After this high was broken to the upside, we had this as an inducement, and then we created double bottom. So this low came back and entered this double bottom, and then we had this continuation to the upside. But nevertheless, I am still waiting if the market would come back here. But if the market is not going to come back here, I am just going to wait for a break of this high. Then I'm going to look out for another way to continue to the upside. But if you would want to join this movement to the upside also, it depends on the rules you create for yourself. Like I stated earlier, you have to create a set of rules for yourself. Nothing starts until you start, nothing ends until you end it, and there is nothing that will happen until you make it happen. So you can create some set of rules for yourself that, okay, I'm going to be trading both the secondary inducement and the primary inducement, or you're just going to be trading the secondary inducement. It all depends on the rule you make for yourself. Just ensure that you have some set of rules you are making for yourself, because based on what this market is displaying, we might eventually come back and break this high, and the market's not coming back to our primary point of interest. Then the next thing you would want to do is to go to your lower time frame, to look out for your confirmation. That's the next thing you would want to do. Okay, after you've marked out everything on the higher time frame, then the only thing you're going to go to do on, personally, I'm going to recommend 5 minutes and 15 minutes for your lower time frame entry confirmation. Once you are able to get that entry confirmation perfectly, then you enter the market. It is as simple as that. Everything you're going to be doing, just ensure it is from the higher time frame perspective. It is from the higher time frame perspective. Ensure it is from the higher time frame perspective. And what you are coming to do on your lower time frame is to get entry confirmation. Okay, what you are coming to do on your lower time frame is to get entry confirmation and nothing else, because there is a lot of noise on the lower time frame. You can't just afford to be part of that noise. Okay, just ensure that what you're coming to do on this lower time frame is to get your confirmation, and that is just how you analyze, guys. And when we talk about entry confirmation, I made a video about entry confirmation. I'm still going to link that in the description box for you to see, guys. I'm going to link that entry confirmation for you to see it, guys. So once you get your entry confirmation, you enter the market. An example of the entry confirmation, if you're somebody that trades the secondary inducement, immediately you had this eye broken, because this is an induced eye. This eye induced this eye. So this is an induced eye. Immediately you had this break of eye to the upside. The next thing you're looking out for is, where is the first break of structure? This is the first break of structure here. You had this first break of structure here, and where is the inducement? This is the inducement for that break of structure, and you can see the market perfectly came back and took out the inducement, and then we continued in the upside. So if you want to get, we have different entry confirmation from different people, so it depends on the one that is suitable for you, and that is part of the rules you create for yourself. Like I stated earlier, you have to have a set of rules you've created for yourself, and that is going to be it, guys.